All right, good morning. Good morning. Nice to see so many of you here this morning. Thank you for joining me. Coffee with the Principal in February. I have lots of info to go over today. And as usual, go ahead and put questions in the chat if you have them, or raise hand if it's something you want to ask right at that moment. So what I'm going to go over today. First, I'm going to do a couple slides. What's happening at West Hollywood Elementary? We're going to be talking about a lot of future stuff today because we're planning for next year. We're planning for summer, spring break, that kind of thing. So I wanted what's happening right now. So a couple of things that we're doing now that you may or may not have been aware of. Some highlights. I'm going to share the budget survey results. I don't have budget to share with you today. I'll be sharing that in a few weeks, probably second week of March, and I'll have a special coffee with the principal just to go over budget. So be on the lookout for that announcement. I'm going to share what does it mean to be an ATSI school. I did send out that email blast, and some of you may have more questions. Also talk a little bit about the superintendent's cultural arts plan and how that will impact us here at West Hollywood. We'll talk about our playground renovations and give you some updates on how that's going, our academic interventions, acceleration days during spring break, summer camp here at West Hollywood, and then I know FOE will have some announcements. So like I said, lots and lots of info today. First thing, many of our classes, this was optional for them. The Microsoft Education is doing something, a challenge with the kids in Minecraft called Level Up Los Angeles. And I'm going to kind of come out of screen. I don't want to, the video is 5 minutes long, so I don't necessarily want to show it. Let me see if I can get the link here. And I will pop it in the chat for you to check out. This is the link that the students get for the kickoff. It kicked off this week. But basically, this is a sustainability challenge. They did this in New York, and now they are doing it here with Los Angeles students. Our students will get the opportunity to, I keep going back to that. I don't want to go back to that. We'll get the opportunity to redesign the Santa Monica Pier to be more sustainable and equitable. So they have already designed the Santa Monica Pier within Minecraft, and the kids get access to that. And then they'll be doing lessons with their teachers and coming up with how do they think we could solve some of the challenges there. So thinking about kids going or people going down to the beach in a wheelchair. How do we make it more accessible for them? Sustainability challenges. How do we keep trash from going into the ocean from the Santa Monica Pier? So they'll be doing some of that. Again, it's optional for classes. A lot of our teachers, though, have indicated that they were going to be doing that with their students. So if you see them doing Minecraft, it's the educational version that we use here to help kids connect their projects and what they're doing to real world problems. So the kids will also learn about SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and they'll learn about C40 cities, which if you're familiar, those things have been around for many years that politicians and leaders are using across the world to help make our Earth a little more friendly and leave less of a carbon footprint. So that's one thing I wanted to share, the Minecraft Level Up Los Angeles redesign. 4th and 5th grade GATE program, they're doing the stock market game. So in that, they get $100,000, not real money, obviously, but $100,000 to invest in the real stock market. So it's a game, but the game is based on the actual stock market and the ups and downs of the stock market. So the kids get to experience what that might be like with play money before they ever do that with real money. So that's exciting. 2nd grade's just finishing up their robot designs, and they were trying to design robots that would solve a problem, not enough water, saving water, doing different things like that. And then they made them out of cardboard, right? So some of our projects, not all our projects are online. I think they're going to be doing some coding, makey in addition to the robot design, but if you have a favorite 2nd grader, favorite 2nd grade wizard, check it out and talk to them about their robots. Also coming up soon for second grade is Hall of Heroes. For if you're a second grade parent, that will be an evening activity. The kids pick a hero, they do all the research on it, and then they dress up like the hero, and we do a living museum in the hallways of the school. And the kids, you go and a lot of them will have like a little button here and it says press me. You press their button and they tell you about their hero. We also, for those of you that have been around, we have been working on a STEAM certification from the board. We have another validation visit at the end of March. So your children may be telling you about preparing for those folks that will be coming through to see what we're doing. Also, third grade is doing Black history through famous Black artists. So maybe seeing some interesting art pieces coming home or hearing about that. So I just wanted to give some overview of some of the amazing things happening here. I'm sure I forgot some things. There are other grade levels doing amazing things, but those were just off the top of my head. Wanted to share a few things with you. Also, saving the date, because some of you may have to request off work. Second quarter awards assembly will be Tuesday, March 14th. By March 9th, you should get a letter from the teacher saying what award your child is getting. It will have all of this information on the letter, the time. This is in person only in the auditorium. And we ask parents to join us at your grade level time. And then as kids get awards, we will give opportunities for you to come up, be the paparazzi, take pictures, and celebrate with our students. So wanted to give that information out. Also in March, spring parent conferences. Now, our spring parent conferences are not mandatory for everyone like the fall conferences are, but students will be invited. If you get an invitation, your student may have received a warning notice this quarter. They may be scoring in yellow or red for math or language arts. Or if you have an ELD student, I'm asking teachers to meet with you and go over their reclassification plan and the progress they're making towards that. If your student doesn't meet any of those qualifications, you are still welcome to request a parent conference. And so then you can also be scheduled. So everyone is welcome, but not everyone necessarily will be invited depending on whether you meet those requirements. We do an altered schedule though, because we still have a lot of families that need to make appointments with the teachers. So to give the teachers more time to meet with parents. And so this will be the altered schedule the week of March 6th. And the biggest change is that Friday, March 10th is a 1 p.m. dismissal. So kind of mark your calendars for those things. Also, save the date. In the spring in April, we do our annual STEAM Playground Open House, and we have a big art show. And so it will be Thursday, April 20th from 5:30 to 7. So please mark your calendars and plan on joining us. It's like the whole school comes out. It's all outside and in the auditorium, and it's kind of like a mini carnival, but just all celebrating student work and projects, and it's a lot of fun. All right, budget survey results are in. So we use SurveyMonkey, and I want to thank FOE for paying for the subscription for SurveyMonkey so that we can send this out to all of you and you can share your thoughts with us anonymously. We had thought about using Google Forms, but that isn't as anonymous because you have to log in with your email. So we had a 77 total folks complete the survey. It was open for about 2 weeks. And so this is a breakdown of who responded. So you see most were parents or teachers. We had a couple staff members, and we had a pretty good representation across the grade levels, first grade being the lowest representation. So one of the questions we always ask is, are you aware of the fundraisers, the goals, and how funds are spent? And we got 4.5 stars. It seems like everyone kind of knows what's happening with the fundraisers. And Yurka, feel free to pop in at any point. Yurka's our FOE president, if you haven't met him before. Okay. This question, so let me move my little things out of the way here. Annual giving, It's $1,800 a student. Are you aware of that? And do you think FOE has clearly communicated that? Overwhelmingly, yes. There's one person that has no idea what's going on down here. But I think pretty clear that we've communicated it well. If, as we expect, we have a significant budget shortfall and we need to consider cuts to existing staff or programs next year, do you think raising the ask per child should be considered? And it was about 60% said yes, they would pay more. About 40% said no, and it looks maybe 30%. I'm reading the percentages a little bit off because it looks like we have maybe 18% that had other, and they had other comments that they shared with us. We'll leave those as private comments for FOE. We won't share those, but we did review those comments. Oh, and this one got a little too big, but this is about TAs. Is the amount of funding that we allocate enough, too much, or about right? So a little over 60% said it's about right, about 30% saying not enough. And a few folks do think that maybe we're spending too much there. But overwhelmingly, folks enjoy the TAs and maybe even looking like we would like to have a few more TAs. The PE coach is 100 minutes of PE for each student at West Hollywood Elementary. Also providing valuable planning time for students attending PE. He does do some intramural activities and competitions during lunches. Those are scattered throughout the year. So he's about 29% of FOE's budget. Is it enough, too much, about right? And so we had overwhelmingly about 70% about right, some even saying not enough, and then a few families feeling too much. But again, overwhelmingly, Coach Felt is always a big hit here at West Hollywood. The music programs, and so about 13% of the budget goes towards the music programs. And so we're probably around the 72% about right, even some families wanting to see more and a couple maybe wanting to see less. And I feel like PE and music, it depends. People answer differently depending on what your student enjoys most, right? Some students really love PE and sports, and other kids really love the arts. And so I feel like that kind of flavors how folks respond. Technology. Some of the feedback on this one is people didn't know what that meant. So technology is Mr. Chris. He comes in, he's here full time, and he does do instruction with the kids weekly. He also helps teachers with special projects. He helps all of our parents. He does a lot of one-on-one support. He fixes devices, which is so valuable, because those of you who've ever had to wait for LAUSD ITD to respond, you know how long that takes. And Chris is really, he can swap out, we call it Frankensteining devices. He'll take two broken Chromebooks and turn it into one that works, right? And we'll salvage the other one. He meets with parents to help you get in on parent portal, access student information, all of those things. He does a lot here for us. So hopefully that clarifies what technology has been in terms of FOE supporting. We haven't bought too many devices because since the pandemic, the district has been providing the Chromebooks and the iPads, but previous to the pandemic, FOE would also try to fund devices for students. But looks like, yes, pretty much overwhelmingly folks agree that technology is important, especially as a part of a STEAM school. And then funding how much, looks like pretty much everyone's on board that we're spending enough, maybe even adding more. Field trips, enrichments, and assemblies for all grades in order to fund these programs. That's not a huge part of our budget. It is a lot of money. It's interesting how 3%, but we just had an assembly, and assemblies run around $2,400. A field trip can run around $2,000, depending on how many buses and the ticket costs and things of that nature. But FOE does fund 2 field trips a year at minimum for all the kids. We have assemblies, we have different enrichments we bring in. I think we're going to be bringing Professor Egghead for 3rd grade soon. So yeah, so a lot of those had kind of gone away during the pandemic. They're slowly coming back, and we're looking like about right or not enough. We want more of those things. And that I'm not surprised by that answer, because again, as we come back from the pandemic, folks are wanting more and more of those things. It's been harder in the fall to schedule them because a lot of companies were not up and running yet post-COVID, but they're coming back. And so that's been exciting. So this is if we had to cut, because we are significantly we have a significant shortfall. Oh, Yurka, you wanted to say something? You look like you were
No, I'll wait until you.
Okay.
No, I'll wait until you finish. Thank you.
All right. So we do have we are looking at a potentially significant shortfall in our fundraising. We're not alone in that. A lot of schools are in that position. But folks ranked it. And so I went through and looked at the actual percentages and numbers. And so because this is a good graph, but to me was a little bit harder to read. So the first cut would be assemblies. Second, tied for second was music, field trips, and in-class enrichments. Then tied for third was technology, art, and the teacher's assistants. And the last thing folks would cut was the PE coach. Do you want, go ahead, Yurka, give me a chance to drink some coffee.
No, I mean, I think everybody can agree that, at least for me, it's very interesting, right? Because you see all the numbers in the bag. It seems like we as FOI, and by FOI, I mean all of us parents, right? Because I don't think it's FOI, the parents and the school. I think FOI, it's everybody, all the parents at school. Yeah. It seems like everybody agrees that we do everything correctly. We are spending the money correctly. $1,800 seems to be a good number, and the majority of people said they would pay more than that, but then the actual numbers don't reflect it, right? So we are with our annual campaign right now at $240,000. The annual budget is $450,000, so we are far from reaching that goal. At 256 families, we are approximately at 70% participation at with the annual giving campaign, right? And only 40% of that give the actual $1,800. There is approximately 15 families that give more than $1,800 per student. And then, everything below that is that a family is donate less than $1,800. So it seems like majority of people agree with everything and they would like everything what we have, but yet we don't get the funds for it. So again, I'm always open to hear from other parents if they have any other ideas how we can meet the budget, right? Because it looks like right now at this moment we'll have to make some big cuts for next year because we are not meeting the budget. We are very below. We do have a step it up right now. It's not doing as well as we have hoped. We are at $38,000 right now. The goal was to raise $80,000. That's probably not going to happen. We still have this year. Miracles happen every day, so maybe. But I'm going to stay realistic, so probably that's not going to happen. We did get some big donations this year from corporations, thanks to Amy Harris, who has been reaching out to a lot of businesses in the area. We got $10,500 from Albertsons.
Wow, that's wonderful.
That's amazing. Yeah. We got $2,500 from Gelson's. She's also communicating with Starbucks and Costco. So that helps a little bit. And then we have the big gala, right? So there is a big chance we could get a big chunk of money to meet the budget by making gala a success, right? And in order for us to make it success, we need everybody to participate. So we are still looking for some volunteers to help with the auction items. So if anybody's interested, please contact me or Peter Gandolfo, who is a co-chair still of the gala. We are looking for another chair to help him. we got to make sure we get all the items, we get the room baskets, items, and so on. We also want to make sure that everybody purchases tickets to gala, right, and goes and celebrates. That all helps with the budget. So
Can I just
we still have
interject?
a chance.
We haven't had an in-person gala in 3 years, so a lot of our families maybe have never been to that. It's a fun evening out for our parents. They look forward to going. There are so many, don't feel like you don't want to go because then you have to spend money when you get there. There's options for every dollar amount. If you want, you can just go and have drinks too. But they have dollar raffles, like you can spend a couple dollars and maybe win a trip to Hawaii. So there's something for everyone at the gala. And it's a really great evening to just meet other parents, have a night out, get a babysitter, and just enjoy. It is really exciting to have it back. And since it's been 3 years, so many of you maybe have not been to that. I go, the teachers sometimes go, different teachers will show up. Afsana loves to go. I think she's already got her ticket, and her daughter. They go every year. They're so excited. And then for those family and friends that live farther away, give them the link to the online auction. I don't know if we're doing it or not, but in some years we've done a class art project and people love that. They come out so great. So there's different opportunities. Maybe you don't want more stuff, but you want more memories. And so those art projects are a really good one. So just to give a little plug, if for those of you who've never been to a West Hollywood gala sponsored by FOE, really consider joining us. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, right? And it's gonna be at the Vermont in Hollywood, Melrose and Vermont. So it's a beautiful space. Most of it is gonna get donated. So really, our cost of putting on the event, it's very low. Thanks to our parents and our board members. So really, the cost of the gala is it's going to be like $1,000 for everything. So that saves us some money.
That's huge. I don't know if we've ever done a gala that affordably. So congratulations to the board for making that happen.
Yeah, and then the first hour is going to be free drinks. So make sure you show up there the first hour so you can get free drinks. There are going to be appetizers. There's going to be a DJ. So it is going to be a lot of fun. We'll have some items there for an auction, and a majority of the auction items will be on online auction. So I hope that everybody is going to be able to make it.
Thank you,
thank
you,
Dr.
and thank you to everyone who participated in the budget survey. And I know Yurka has maybe a few other announcements for us, so he'll be continuing to pipe in here and there. So couple of informational pieces. I sent out an email. And again, parents, if you have questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. I don't see anything in there yet. So, or comments, let us know. But ATSI, what does it mean to be an additional targeted support and improvement planning school? So first and foremost, I want to say this is something that comes from the state, not from the district. And I don't know the actual percentage, but it's something like 90% of the schools were identified for this because of the pandemic. So a lot of these numbers are from 2 years ago when we were all kind of trying to figure out our way through the pandemic. The LAUSD did kind of try to bargain with the state, but they didn't budge. So a lot of schools are identified as ATSI schools, way more than normal. Where does this come from? What does this mean? So the state of California has a data dashboard for all districts and all schools. And then the state identifies different schools for different categories that need support and improvement. And then it's the district's responsibility to respond to that identification and share how we're working towards what's our plan to help make that improvement happen. Okay. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about the state indicators do align to Superintendent Carvalho's strategic plan, academic excellence, joy and wellness, engagement and collaboration. So these are the elements that they're looking at ATSI that potentially a school can be identified for. We are identified in the joy and wellness for the chronic absenteeism, and we had a couple of, we do have suspensions that happen here. The state would prefer to see 0 suspensions, right? Because if kids are not in school, they're not learning. So the push is not to suspend, but rather to support and help students develop and grow. Okay. Also, a little bit more background on what is this California dashboard. I have shared it in the past. It was first released in 2017, and it was designed to provide information to reflect 2 years worth of data for every indicator. So due to the pandemic, there were no dashboard results in 2020 or 2021. So the 22 dashboard release only reflects 1 year of the transition back to accountability. And so all of our SBAC scores there are all the data for our school, how many students we have, our ethnic demographic backgrounds, attendance, suspensions, how many students are low socioeconomic status, how many students are homeless, how many students are in foster care. All of that information is on this dashboard. And so because we only have 1 year, the data looks a little differently. So if any of you remember sharing it, it wasn't these bars before, it was more percentages and things. Sorry, my lights keep going out. So you'll see here, this is not our school's data. This is Los Angeles Unified as an entire district. And so you'll see our chronic absenteeism is very high, suspension rates are low. English language arts performance, how they're performing is low. As a district, math and language arts are, well, English learner progress, excuse me, is medium, but math and language arts are low. Graduation rate is medium. So those are things the district as a whole, big picture, are working on. I'm going to share our schools data. I'm just trying to give you the big top-down view. This is also LAUSD as a whole district. That you can see English language arts, most students are all students are performing approximately 30 points below standard, and math 71 points below. So you'll see a lot of push with the district trying to really work on math. It's low across the district. And then English learner progress, about half of our English learners are making the progress we'd like to see, where they're moving up at least 1 level per year. Okay, college and career wasn't reported in 2022. Let me keep going. Academic engagement. So they're looking at that chronic absenteeism. The district as a whole is around 40% of students are chronically absent. You're going to see our school is kind of similar to that. That is one area where we are in line with the district. Graduation rate really doesn't apply to elementary, and then suspension is very low, which you want to see in terms of this dashboard. So you want to see all the bars for suspension rate, and you want to see like here for very high. This is not, we don't want to see very high in chronic absenteeism, but you want to see very high in like language arts and math. I know it can be a little confusing at first. Hopefully this is somewhat clear. And again, this is all LAUSD's data, like the entire district. And so you see here for absences, very high, pretty much across the board as it's broken down by subgroups. And then they even do for suspensions, for graduation, EL progress, and then math and language arts. And this will be on the school's website. I'm recording this, so I'll post it there. So this is our school, West Hollywood Elementary. So chronic absenteeism is high. I mean, we can celebrate, it doesn't say very high, but our students, even this year, we've been really trying to call folks and say, hey, we know they're sick, but can you try, if they don't have a fever, please send them to school. Suspension rate is low. We do have some suspensions, so we don't have that last bar here because sometimes that's what we have to do. We did not have enough English learners in 2021 to warrant data reported here. Our English language arts is very high. I believe our 3rd through 5th grade last year, 85% of our students performed at or above grade level on their SBAC. And so we are definitely outperforming the district here, and we are outperforming the district in math, even though it doesn't say very high. If you remember, when we looked at that other slide, most students in the district are performing 70 points below grade level. And so I think we're at 70% of our students are performing at or above grade level. So we definitely are flipped from the normal LAUSD model. And hopefully that kind of supports what Yurka has been sharing with everyone, that all of the parent support, all the things that we do here, the teachers, the work we're doing really makes a huge impact. Our school is not similar to other LAUSD schools, and our data supports that. This is our student population. We have about 311 students last year. We were at close to 30% socioeconomically disadvantaged. I think we're closer to 25% this school year. We had 8.7% of our students were English learners, and we did not have any foster youth in our school last year. So then these are also our data. So 62.3 points above standard in English language arts and 28.3 points above standard in math, which is pretty amazing. Consider the district is all below. And like I said, in math, they were like 70 points below. So we're pretty excited about that data, though, of course, we're competitive with ourselves. We want to see that other purple bar filled in, right? And so we're working on another math tutoring. We've been working on more math intervention with our students this year. This is why we're an ATSI school. So we have one bar that we had not filled in here for suspension rate, and our absenteeism last year was 16.6% chronically absent. This year the number is even higher. So we've really been trying to reach out to parents, and I have some meetings scheduled with some folks to talk about attendance. Truancy letters have been going out. We really have to work on, some of it is educating parents on how to turn in medical excuses and doctor's notes, but knowing even though you have an excuse, it still counts towards absenteeism. So the golden number, we want children to have no more than 7 absences in a school year, and that includes tardies and things. So we really want the kids to be here. If they're not here, they're not getting instruction, and it makes it harder to learn. So we're definitely working on that. So this is the actual identification sheet for ATSI. The subgroups that were flagged were our English learners and our students with disabilities, and then chronic absenteeism being very high also with our socioeconomically disadvantaged. Okay, but even still, it's not fair just to target them because our other subgroups are still high. They're not very high, but they're high. And so everyone has some work to do in the attendance area. And then we'll obviously continue working on the suspensions and trying to have positive behavior support to support our students. Okay, so let me see, questions. Oh, thank you, Kara, for putting the link to purchase FOE gala tickets for the auction. Can you explain more about how absenteeism affects the school? If a kid is sick, why should the school get docked for that? And what does chronically mean, illness or other? So good questions. This comes from the state because we're funded by the state and federal dollars, right? And so if a student is not sitting in seat, we do not get that day's payment for having a student. Students bring the money with them. So if we have, let's do some easy numbers. If we have 10 students and we get $10 per student, if only 9 show up, we're not getting that $10 for that one that did not show up. And so it impacts the district financially. It also impacts, one day is one thing, but I am talking about families who have 63 tardies. And if you're coming at 9 a.m. every day and your child missed math 63 days out of a school year, out of 180, that's pretty significant learning loss. And so chronically means more than 7 per school year. They also have a chart where they break it down by month, that if you missed 3 days this month, you're falling into chronic, so you need to miss no days next month to get moved back up. Like, they really will break it down for you, and we can dig into the weeds on that. But we're really trying to spread the message: no more than 7 days absent. If you do have a medical situation, bring in those doctor's notes so we can tag it as medical. It's excused, it still counts as days that gone because you're not here, right? It's about an accounting process, and we can't say you were here even though you weren't, because that's an auditing issue. Hopefully that helps to make some sense. If the student is actively working, will they be considered as truant? If they're not in seat, doesn't matter if they did their homework or not, it's still truant. Truancy doesn't have anything to do with grades. It's how, were they here? Were they on time enough to not be considered truant? Even if they have, a set teacher, you're thinking about movies. So that one is tricky, because I believe you have the state law says that we have to let you do that. You do have to have a set teacher. You bring us the pink slip saying they were with the set teacher, but it still counts as absent. And so bring in all your paperwork and your documentation, and we will submit that on your behalf for the truancy, but you're still contributing to our chronic absenteeism rate. And so that's something I have called the district and said, how does this jive? It doesn't seem to match up, right? And I haven't been able to get a good answer on that one. So we try to work with our students who work on sets and do filming projects as much as we can. It's a tough one. It's a tricky one. All right, good questions, folks. But so I will be writing a plan. Every school that is an ATSI school, we have to write a plan during budget development to say how the things that we're purchasing, or what are the projects and programs we're putting in place to support improving. We don't have to be perfect, but we have to at least improve the number of students that are late or tardy or absent a lot. Okay. So in the plan, we have to make sure that we use evidence-based interventions. We have our needs assessment. We look at all of our data. We look at any resource inequities that might be present, and we identify those. And then the district approves it, and they continue monitoring and checking up on us. Are we doing what we said we were going to do? Is it working or not? All right, so I think most of you asked your questions you had for attendance. If you have more, let me know. I'm sure you'll hear more from me. I'm letting you know now, if you're one of my families that has a lot of absences, we'll probably be talking. And again, we're just trying to work together to do better for our school. All right, cultural arts plan. It's starting to rain. All right, cultural arts passport plan. Let me see. I think I have the link here. I'm going to drop this in the chat for all of you. I can't go through the whole thing during the meeting. You'll all tune out and log off because you'll be tired of hearing me talk. But you might want to look at it for yourself. So hopefully that link will work for you. This came from Superintendent Carvalho's 100-day plan report. Just kind of quickly going through it. The surveys that he sent out, a lot of parents said we want arts in our schools. And so you have all these different things that he's proposing. I'm trying to go down the different museums and cultural centers. Much of this FOE funds for us, and we're so appreciative of that. And I do think FOE will need to continue funding that for us, because I'll explain the funding we got and how this is rolling out. It's like a 5-year plan. Things will continue rolling out. Trying to get to, here we go. So here's one, arts education branch 5-year plan. He would like to have orchestra at all elementary schools, but he's rolling it out so many schools each year. I don't know if there's a list so we could know what year we are, but this is their plan. He also has this creative network expansion to all the elementary schools, and again, to a certain number of elementary schools per year. But I'm going to share a little bit more about what information I do have for our school for next year. But this just takes some time if the arts is really something that excites you. Our kids go to Pally Camp and go to Catalina in 4th and 5th grade. So a lot of what he's saying here we do, but He's trying to normalize that for the whole district, right? Let's see, I have a question in the chat. What is, oh yeah, sorry, that's a private question. Let's talk more about that one. Sorry. Okay, so cultural arts experiences, including local cultural experiences across America, international cultural experiences, cultural arts fairs. So those are the things that they want to be seeing coming forward. Students will be able to earn badges for doing different arts things in their Schoology account. And then every school, they gave us funding, and I'll be sharing this up when I do my coffee with the principal on budget. They give us funding for the cultural arts program. Now, the district generally funds Mr. Alberson, who is our visual arts teacher. So I'm assuming we all want him back. We will fund him out of that funding, right? There's still a little bit more. Part of what also we have to fund, every school has to fund enough money for one of our teachers to be what we call the cultural arts passport champion. And that teacher will go to district meetings, professional development, and they will be the ones to help coordinate whatever we purchase with our cultural arts funds, whatever the district is providing. I'm thinking maybe they will be the ones that get the information about the rollout of when each school is getting which program. So that's around $5,500 for all of that. So between that and Mr. Alberson, we'll probably have a little extra left over for some art supplies, and that will probably be our cultural arts budget for the next school year. I missed the Catalina meeting. Where can I get the information on that? Talk to Mr. Noor or Mr. Page, and they will be able to help you out. We didn't record it. You can also Google Catalina to see the cabins and see all the things that the kids will be doing. All right. If there are any questions on the arts, please let me know. And I know I'm going through a lot of information quickly. There's a lot of information coming at us right now as we're planning for next year. I was telling one of the parents this morning in drop off, I was literally in a face-to-face person meeting yesterday. And I also have my laptop open and the earbud in on a Zoom meeting at the same time. Like there's so many meetings and so much information coming out. So sharing all of that I can with you, trying to keep you up to date. So our playground renovation projects, I know I've been getting some emails and questions. How's this going? What's happening? So beautification day, fingers crossed, no rain, no scheduling conflicts, nothing like that. It is now March 4th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We are looking for parent volunteers and sending out the notices to get folks to sign up. The garden renovation will be happening. We'll be doing painting. Kinder TK, we're doing a yard cleanup, and the city is going to bring, there are blue pockets that we can plant things in on the fence. They're bringing some succulents to plant in there so that we can get that going. Grass will be reseeded so we can have, we don't want just weeds, you know, we want good grass in there too. The field and grass renovation. I've gotten an update. We are on schedule for a May architect meeting to begin designing the seeds grant and the monies that are coming from board member Melvoin's office. It's about $250,000 that we have for those of you who maybe haven't heard this before. And the architect will be coming out. We'll tell him what we want. He'll design it. It will go to the Board of Education for approval. We're slated for the September meeting. Okay. Even after it gets approved, we can still make adjustments and changes. So I will be presenting all of this every step of the way as we, you know, at my coffee with the principal, as we go forward. We're thinking a potential groundbreaking next school year during winter break. That's a fingers crossed, everything goes well. We could do that and potentially have grass in the spring, which would be exciting. See, do I have a question on that one? Okay, whoa. Okay, this one looks like yes.
Can I mention about the beautification day?
Sure.
So we also, thank you. We also got it sponsored by two realtors from Compass, David Cohn and Lee Beckman. They paid us $1,000 to help the school. and they will also have a shred track. So anybody can bring their old papers, documents, whatever you have in the morning between 9 or 8:30 and 10. And there's gonna be some bagels, maybe donuts, coffee, and you can take advantage of, and it's all free, and you can just have your old documents shredded too.
Okay. Thank you. All right, and then we still have a lot of other projects we'd like to do for the playground. We are developing a list so that we can start getting quotes. And then as people show interest in supporting us, we can have something ready to say, would you like to sponsor this project? And so I'm investigating all of the plans and quotes with our complex plant manager. He oversees a lot of the school campuses in our area. And then the city of West Hollywood has also expressed interest in receiving a proposal so they can consider supporting some of our projects as well. So more information coming on that. I just wanted to keep you updated. Really our goals with the playground renovation is about being more sustainable, having less of a carbon footprint, having a cooler space for kids to play on as we go forward. Okay, so some academic interventions. So we have our math pullout is happening right now 2 times a week for 2nd through 5th grades. Our English language learners are still getting pulled out 3 times a week to help support them, and that we're doing progress monitoring with them to make sure that they're improving. We have already in progress happening is the after school tutoring for the LPAC prep, our English learners who need to take that assessment every year to try to move up a level. We are having 10 weeks of tutoring. And so the way that works is they're almost finished with the writing component of the tutoring. And I think that finishes this week or next week. And then they will take their writing test. We're going to spend about 5 weeks working on the speaking, listening, and reading, and then they will take the speaking, listening, reading test. So that's been really successful. I've heard a lot of good feedback from that. And then we have after school math tutoring starting. I sent those out to those students who qualified. If you are able or would like to join, please send those interest forms back by the end of the day tomorrow. It's a tight turnaround. We're trying to get the company to make sure and get everything in line, make sure that we can get started in about 2 weeks when we would like to. So trying to push as much on the math as possible so that our students have the opportunity to do the best they can on their spring assessments. So we had the winter acceleration days, the spring acceleration days, April 3rd and 4th, the Monday and Tuesday of spring break. Now we have Friday off before spring break. That day is an off day. No, I don't want any confusion. You have a 3-day weekend no matter what. But if you would like your children to go to the acceleration days, the Monday and Tuesday of spring break, it will be here at West Hollywood. Our students went to Hancock Park last time, and I think half of the students at acceleration days were our kids. There were like 120 of our students that went. And so it made sense for them to identify us as a school to host for spring break. Registration will be opening soon, more information coming soon. I just wanted to announce that it will be here. Summer camp. So we used to have Galileo, and they have scaled way back. A lot of camps have scaled way back since the pandemic, but STAR is one of our after school programs, Star Nova. A lot of our families love the program. They are going to be having their summer camp. We're going to be one of their locations, assuming we get enough students who register. So we need at least 30 students per class, and I think we need at least 2 classes all summer to keep the camp. So the flyers have been going out. I've been putting them in the little thing by the gate, and they keep disappearing. So I'll put some more out. Well, it's raining. I'll wait till it's done raining. But we sent them out. Room parents have been sending them out on the flyer. It's kind of cut off here, but at the bottom, there's a lot of discounts you can get. The biggest discount is if you register by the end of this month, by February 28th. You can also get discounts if you have more than 1 child, if you register for more than 1 week. So make sure you take a look at that. Also, what's really exciting, a lot of our families, TK and Kinder that are registering, share with us that there's not a lot of options for TK and Kinder camps. And so they will take incoming TK Kinder students, and they don't necessarily have to be students that go to West Hollywood. They can be from any school. And so if your kids have friends at other schools, private schools, Beverly Hills Unified Schools, they can come to the summer camp here with their friends. And then, like I said, anyone coming, registering, even if they're not coming here for TK or Kinder, they can take the Kinder Prep Summer Camp here at our school and still go to whatever school they're going to in August. So make sure the registration.
Yeah, I think, Dr. Lehman, it's also important for everybody to know that this is another way to support the school, right? Because there is going to be income for the school.
Yes.
So, and it will help us too.
Yeah, they rent the campus. And so we do get some funding back for that. They rent the campus during the school year. And that's how some of your classes have been getting smart boards. And that's where we've been getting that funding from, is that campus rental. So we make use of every opportunity we can to provide funding and more experiences for the kids and tools for the teachers. Whew, I did a lot of talking today, so I am going to turn it over to Mr. President Yurka.
Thank you very much. I mean, we already talked about the Step It Up. You know, this is the last week. We can still make a difference. So please check your emails. If you have a few more people you could send the emails out to, please do so. Friends, family, neighbors, strangers, you never know. You can also send it to yourself and donate. That's also a possibility. So we still have a chance to meet, hopefully to meet our budget. Hopefully many of you have, or all of you have already visited our website, the new website for FOE. You know, it's a new platform, it's modern, it combines multiple services, different services that we have been paying for before. So it saves us a lot of money, because right now it's all in one platform for low annual price. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. And it will also require for you to register yourself with your children, which will help in the future when you need to make any purchases or when you need to get any communication. If you make purchases if you make a donation or make a purchase, it's all going to be in your account, so you can always go back and see what purchases you made and get your receipts and so on. One thing I want to correct about the gala. So, you know, as the board, we're all working on the gala and the auction, and Peter Gandolfo is leading it. But for the event itself at the Vermont Hotel or Vermont Hollywood, the one person that's responsible for arranging it and getting us a good deal and so on, it's one person only from the board, and that's Dylan Fox. So really all the credit goes to him and his connections being able to get us this great deal, getting us the drinks and the food and the DJ and so on. So Dylan is a parent at kindergarten, I believe, right? So, you know, if you see him, please say thank you to him. And as I mentioned before, just if you please can help with the auction, there is still some volunteer spots that are available. Please do so. If you know a local business that can donate an item to the auction, please do so. You know, we're looking for vacations, stay away, a weekend stay away. We can be looking for spa treatments. You know, I think we're looking for wine. Luke can speak for that, because Luke Shrugen is leading our wine collection for the gala. So please talk to your local businesses or friends and see if you can get something for the auction, and then also for the room basket, so we can make it really successful and meet our budget. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Trying to be the cheerleader over here as best I can. And
I know, thank you. It's a lot of black screens, and it's just you and me.
Yeah,
so
if you can turn your cameras on, it is a little less challenging to speak to faces than thank you.
Hello, Adam.
But I just want to thank FOE. It's not an easy task right now. I know Natalie, our president from last year, was just rebuilding FOE and bringing it back out of the abyss. And so we thank her for that. And this year, Yurka has really had the challenge of reestablishing so many of our programs and activities and chairpersons and the fundraising. And we did have a surplus. And so we really skated on the surplus for the past couple of years. And so this is the first year we don't have that surplus cushion. And so giving has been down. It hasn't hurt as much as it probably will this year. And so I appreciate the efforts for Step It Up. I know not everyone loves that fundraiser, but we're doing the best we can with the opportunities that we know are available to us. I really think you're going to love the gala. I hope you'll get a chance to go, set aside the funds to go and have a great evening and, you know, get away from it all for an evening. It really is a great time to meet other parents and network with each other. And we have some amazing parents here, so you really want to know each other. So thank you. And I think Adam's on the board, but I think Jesse is his partner. So everybody gets pulled in and involved in some kind of way.
I put my time in, so it's his turn.
Any other questions, wonderings?
Maybe I have one more, Dr. Lemon, I forgot to mention. So what I was also thinking about, you know, a lot of us parents have small businesses, and I was looking for ways that as a community we could support each other. And I did reach out to a couple of businesses, and some business owners reached out to me that they would be willing to, for anybody who is from our school and does service with them, give 10% of the proceeds back to the school. And, you know, why not, right? If you have a business, why wouldn't we promote it and have everybody at the school go and use your services? So if you have a small business, or if you have a business in, you know, Los Angeles or West Hollywood, restaurant, dry cleaning, whatever that is, you know, please reach out to me and see if we can help you, so you help the school and so on.
Yeah,
so we can build the community again.
Yeah, and I love that idea. We used to do that, advertising the Wizard Wire and supporting our families so that we can support our local community businesses. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. All right, everybody. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you got a lot out of today's meeting. Email me if you have other questions or other topics you want to hear me talk on. Have my budget meeting in March, and we'll see you around campus. Stay dry today. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.